That's Moses Vision TV 111, MVTV 111. That's right. We are discerning the spirit behind the character, the holy or the unholy spirit behind the character, so you may understand who is who in this world. So you may get a clue as to who is in fact causing this garden to continuously stay in the hell state of stay. That means there's many antichrist because the Christ has did the work on the cross for what you call corruption that was in the garden. That was done by Adam and Eve. Ultimately, they both had to leave the garden, and it was very rough. And we don't understand how rough it was when we had to depart from the garden of heaven. That's because we slept with the enemy. Simple and damn plain. Whatever unnaturalness you don't understand, idolatry is idolatry. And no matter what, we don't understand the story because the story has to play out. You have to experience what you are reading. It's not a story you just read and say, okay, it happened before. It's written for our time. It's written for now. It's happening now. And it's mirroring past. So the future mirrors the past. It's not the other way around. The past doesn't mirror the future. The future mirrors the past. And that means nothing new under the sun. Understand that the same people that was are the same people that are back now, according to Holy Scripture. According to the Bible, many don't understand that the Black Messiah put the vision in our forefathers' minds to write this book and keep performing godly duties to keep the record until now. And now we're going to see the truth and the reality of our conclusion of Esau's world in order to usher in Jacob's kingdom, heaven on earth. Let's listen to Piers Morgan and Candace Owen. For example, of our show, discerning the character behind or the spirit behind the character. So, this is the example. Candace Owen. She looks like an Eve in the spiritual sense. A little, maybe feeling like she's lost. Apparently she's with the enemy, but to her, it's not the enemy. She's a kumbaya thinker, and she is looking like she's scared because there's a lot of things she's running from in the garden. And now let's go to Pierce. He looks like the person in the garden that would give the information to Eve to run away from Adam and go fornicate with a bunch of goofs that was in the garden. Watch the way he tricks her and tries to trick her, but she is now on her road to understanding that she has to run away from the snake in the garden, which is bringing her to idolatry of stupid knowledge, because she has to discern revelation according to how Adam is given revelation from God, the Holy Spirit, the Almighty. So therefore, Candace Owen is an Eve, and homeboy here, Piers Morgan, is unfortunately playing Satan in this case. So now she's gonna be talking about Kanye, which is Adam in this story. Okay? Let's see. And now they want Adam. They want to get rid of Adam, but Adam is hard to kill, hard to take out. The only nigga they can't kill is Adam. Only God can take out Adam. Y'all never read the story, sucker. Let's listen in on these folks here. Let me rewind this back. I was listening. I said, you know what? Let me start doing discernment. So here's the character Adam. Yeah, ye beware, for your enemy roars around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Just like the Bible says, so careful. The Shakor comfort is with you, but you must run away from your enemy because you are sleeping with your enemy as well. Ye, Adam, you must take Candace Owen away from her enemy. She's sleeping with the enemy as well, Candace Owens. So therefore, let's watch this exchange as the story keep playing out and playing out while God is watching and God is judging. I am Moses, Anomaly. I am giving you the truth. For it is written, so it shall be done.
Kanye West launches another anti-Semitic brand to promote his new single, which apparently features Diddy. I'm just not gonna part.
And let's go back a little bit. That spirit there, I'll give you a little clue of Diddy. That spirit
Kanye
there.
West launches another anti-Semitic brand to promote his new single, which apparently features.
Yes, let's see. So let me give you guys a little bit of a sneaker of our next episode. Eventually, we'll go into the other spirit of the guys before Kanye, Adam, in a sense of not before him, but like, you know, in hip hop per se. But basically, the king was already ushered in because Kanye was already going to get robbed in the garden. So that means Kanye now is fighting, but he must find the king, Shakur. The way King Shakur fought, he fought with the Bible. He opened the book. So that means Kanye West have to have faith and understanding to not fall into Eve. That wife that he has on his arm is another Eve. She is not quite Sarah. Not at all. Hell no. So that means Diddy plays in this story. Also, he plays Santa's advocate. That's right. Santa's advocate. He's a Santa's little helper. He's a little elf. They call him Diddy now, unfortunately. He plays a little bit of a Judas, unfortunately, in this story also.
Diddy.
I'm just not going to partake in this sort of like Judas culture.
The Tate brothers continue to divide MAGA and go forward as governor.
And Andrew Tate. Let me give you the spirit behind Andrew Tate. Wow, we get more viewers. Share this live, y'all. This is going to be interesting because now we got a show figured out. We're going to use our biblical discernment and we're going to give you spirit behind the characters that we see, especially the ones that passed away. Okay? And compare them to the king to come. Shakur, comfort. That's right. This was Tupac, but now it's going to be one Pac, suckers. It's going to be two kingdoms coming into one nation. Don't you get it? Here we go. So Andrew Tate, the spirit behind him, I think it's more King Solomon. Andrew Tate, the spirit behind him is King Solomon. That means he is very wise, but yet he's living in the future, but in the past. He feels he should have plenty woman, but the system is given into the hands of the wicked. So that means he's now suffering like every brother because he is a brother. So that means King Solomon was similar to Andrew Tate. Imagine Andrew Tate plays King Solomon in the movie that we're going to do called King Solomon Empire. That's right. We're going to do this movie. It's going to start Andrew Tate, and we're going to make it happen after Holy Duppy Vibes. We're going to actually contact Andrew Tate to get involved in this festival of unity. Let's go. We're trying to make people understand the spirit behind the people so that when they come in this festival, God is the greatest festival, they will all understand our vision is godly because God is writing this right as we speak. Let's listen in on this. We're going to skip through a little bit and let y'all know how juicy things can get in regards to the characters at play. You can watch it over and figure out who is who according to what I displayed.
He's not welcome here. What does that mean? He's not been convicted of a crime.
Ben Shapiro was the George Floyd's killer.
This guy in this story, he in the character of part of Tubal Cain, snake figures, you know, what you can call sort of Benjamin Netanyahu character. So he plays snaky Amalek that just wants to make you feel like he's like Andrew Tate, but he's not. So let's continue.
Chosen to be pardoned.
This was never.
That guy, let's play that guy. That guy that did that George Floyd thing. Let's see.
Florida's governor on the Saturday.
He's not welcome here. What does that mean? He's not been convicted of a crime.
We're giving you all the characters. We already gave you that clown. This guy now, he's in the character of Satan. Yes, that's Satan himself. In the form of a broke version that's just lost because he wants to be Stan. He's not Eminem, he is Stan. So he's a fan of Santa. Let's go.
To be pardoned.
This was never a case that was about race. It was really about, fentanyl.
A new Michael Jackson documentary repeats claims that he.
Let's see. My brother, MJ. That's right. The legend, the king of pop. The man, the black man himself. That they try to turn white, but he showed you the way the world became his oyster. The way the world did not understand. His amazing grace that he's the Archangel Michael, the spirit of the Archangel Michael. That's right, that protect his people, oh true Israel, the black and brown and native. That's Latino and native, black, Latino and native. That's the true people. That's why he became all of that within a lifetime by 50. That shows you the conclusion of Babylon, beware. Making accusation against the innocent because he thought like a child, but he conquered like a god because God was with him. Let's continue about the characters.
Is an abuser.
You will suddenly see the news conspire to smear these people, whether it's a pedophile, whether it's as an anti-Semite. That's what I got when I left an organization.
There's also been recently taking it closer. A bit controversial, but
This guy. Okay, let's give you the spirit behind this guy. I know y'all watching. This guy's part of the snake kingdom. That's right, he's one of those hogs that are just out there trying to be like pigs. But the pigs had to tell him, you cannot be us, you're a hog. You're part of the bullshit. But they don't understand that the pigs are also part of the bullshit. So therefore, this guy plays, he looks like some kind of vampire or something. So yeah, he is guilty. Harvey Weinstein.
days of Harvey
Look
Weinstein.
at his face.
Wrongfully, in my belief,
He looks like an undone meat.
wrongfully convicted and should be free.
Sounds like it's time for the return of Candace Owens to Uncensored.
We're giving you the behind the scene characters,
Candace,
folks.
how are you?
I'm doing well, Pierce. How are you?
Behind the
You've been very
spirit.
busy.
Listen,
I have been busy indeed, much too busy.
and then I'll give you my, so y'all listen in, and I'll give you my commentary as to the spirit behind it. So now they're in the garden. So Eve, Candace Owen, and the snake advocate, Piers Morgan, are conversing in regards to Adam, Ye, Kanye, which plays Adam in this story. Let's listen.
Blessing, so I'm grateful.
Oh, look, it's good to have you on. So much to talk to you about. I want to start with Ye, Kanye West.
You see, there you go. We're not gonna comment and stop it. We're gonna let it play, and then we're gonna come in after. But let me give you guys one thing. We're gonna start off with Ye. You see, the snake advocate knows his paycheck, what his job is. So he goes right to it because he feels like he's so brave. He doesn't even want to talk about her like, how are you? But now look at her face. She's like, oh my God, this is another test. Look at that. She's like, oh my God, here comes another test of faith. I'm still in the garden. I was in the garden at home with that so-called husband of mine, but now I'm in the garden on TV with this husband, so-called husband. And now let's see how the garden plays out.
Now, I've got to say, I know
YouTube, the garden.
Had a good relationship with him. You talked to him and so on, as I have done.
Concrete garden.
Concrete
digital garden.
Over various things. I've got to say, his sort of brazen stuff now on a daily, sometimes minute-by-minute basis on X with the swastikas, the Nazis, and so on. I just find it utterly repellent. Has everything you've been doing in the last 2-3 weeks changed your mind about what's going on here with him?
Okay, so first I just want to say that I definitely told your producers that I didn't want to speak about Ye, but it's totally fine if you want to ask me the question.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. Well, that wasn't communicated
Yeah.
to me, but if you don't mind, I'd just be curious about your view.
Yeah, sure. So my view has been pretty consistent in that when you have a real relationship with someone, you shouldn't be lashing them in the public for anything. There's something about the entire world having commentary about Kanye when he tweets, and that exact same part of the world telling us that we have to remain mum when Bibi Netanyahu literally goes DEFCON 3, but Kanye tweets something about DEFCON 3. That just makes me uncomfortable and feels really disingenuous. And like I said, when you have an actual relationship with someone, if you have anything to say to them, you should say that to that person directly. And so I'm just not going to partake in this sort of like Judas culture of stabbing people in the front when you have a real relationship with them. And I've maintained that consistently, and I'm not going to break that code today.
I mean, some would say, look, I just want to play this clip and get your response to this. I mean, this is him doing, Ku Klux Klan imagery with swastikas. And so it's so brazen, it's so taunting. And you talk about people who are directly attacking people. He's directly attacking Jewish people when he does this and making them feel extremely uncomfortable, extremely threatened by this, because he's got 32 million people following him on X alone. His social media firepower to galvanize hate against the Jewish people is
what are you talking about?
In real time.
What are you talking about?
Just a question for you. When you saw the Klansman hoodie, why did you say taunting against Jewish people, but didn't mention anything about black people?
Whoa, see? She's getting closer to becoming a Sarah. Eventually, she'll get there. But she's catching on because she knows the snake in the garden is withering in to find a way to break her. But let's find out.
Yeah, but it's just interesting that of the two things you chose to lean into Jewish people and not to speak about what the Klansman hood represents.
Well, both. Let's say both. I mean, they're both, the Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan were both despicable people who targeted certain members of society and wanted to cause them in.
Look at them. Certain members of society, like you don't want to admit black people are going through slavery, and we went through so much slavery, and now our reparation is coming in a form of salvation. That means their kingdom is going down, and he doesn't want to admit it. So he's playing Satan, his boss. The spirit behind the spirit behind the spirit. Wow.
Must harm, if not kill them. And that's.
And now Adam is channeling. Adam Ye is channeling Eve Candice, and she's trying to read his understanding. She wants to be taken away from this idolatry, deception that they're trying to perform on her in a form of language. It's called language witchcraft.
That's
Yeah,
why
no,
people
I
are
was
funny when
interested
you
in
do.
that. Like when I saw the image, I thought you were going to say something about Black America and maybe speak about the fact that Kanye is black, but
Exactly.
you just instantly went to accusing or speaking about how Jewish people felt about it. I think that's interesting. I just find that.
Because they want to bring confusion. That's all they want to do is have a confusion of faces, confusion of races, confusion of things. They want you to be confused, black women. Don't fall for Satan's tricks. Don't fall for nothing he does. Believe me. Study the Bible. It tells you who they are. Believe me. And you shall overcome and you will overturn. Until then, you have to find a husband, Adam, a black man, and just talk to him about the truth and protect yourself, because the truth is, it's going to get rough. And it's going to get rough and tough, but we shall overturn.
Sounds to be
Candace,
interesting.
he's literally selling swastikas.
Yeah, Pierce,
Let's
if
have a
you
look.
would like to provide commentary on, if you want to provide commentary on Ye, I have maintained I'm not going to participate in Judas culture. I don't believe in the emphasis that has been placed on me, knowing that I have a personal
Thank you.
relationship with him.
Thank you, Candace. Wow, she is definitely graduating because she's a real Jew. Judah. She's coming closer to Sarah. She is not participating in Jewish culture. So that means there is no such thing as Jewish culture. That's why she called it Judas culture.
Throw him under the bus publicly. It's not the person that I am spiritually, and I'm just not going to partake in it. And I've not
Amen.
moved on that 1 inch. And in
It's
fact,
true,
as
she
time goes
says.
by, I feel stronger and stronger that I
Amen.
should not participate in that
Means
culture,
it's
because
true.
there seems to be something sadistic about the entire world condemning someone, and then an individual saying, "Well, I need you to do it, Candace, because you have a personal relationship with him." It's
Actually,
strange.
that's, you know
You
what?
have
No,
the,
we're
you
not
have
gonna
the
move. We're gonna
entire
move on.
world.
I wasn't
You
even
have-
aware
you
you
have
didn't want to
any
talk about
person
it.
in the entire world that
Light
will
him
come
up.
onto your
Light
platform
him
and say
up.
something about Ye. You
No, honestly, it's not that. I just-
Light him up,
I-
Eve,
I-
No, no,
Candace.
I've got loads of
About to be
people talking about it.
Sarah.
It's not all about Ye, by the way.
Right.
I just
Exactly.
know him, and I know.
Look at him. Look at him. See? He put his mouth. He touched his lip. He's trying to lie. That's he's giving a signal. He's like, uh-oh. She's awoke. And she's like, yes, I'm getting victory. My Lord, don't you worry. I got the stick. I will whap him like a little white monkey.
Bit, and I'm horrified by what I'm seeing. And I just think, I mean, I think it raises a lot of issues. One of which is just on a wider point, whether anyone who's got that kind of following should be able to be so brazenly anti-Semitic, putting swastikas on, saying he's a Nazi, and so on, whether anyone should be allowed to do that, actually, because by exit,
You're lucky. You guys are also Semitic like us. We are the original Semites. What are you talking about? That's the original Semite color. Calmly, beautiful. That is not the original Semite color. That is a version that is going to be discontinued. Let's continue for a little while.
own rules, he breaks almost every rule they have.
That's
Most
what I
people would be
do,
suspended long.
sucker. I am Moses, and you will get to know me.
So,
Well, they don't. They actually took him down last time for posting pornography, legal pornography, which
No.
was ironic.
there is pornography allowed on X. It's been something that we've been speaking out about and wondering why they allow pornography. And it only becomes a discussion when.
Yes, I'm black and I'm proud and I'm ready to get you down.
I mean, since Elon Musk took it over, I think it's ridiculous that pornography is allowed. But we don't need to get into a discussion about X's policies and things of that nature. 'Cause I've
Thank
already
you.
given my response.
Don't let him bring
It's just
pornography
not
in
a
your
relationship
mind.
that I'm gonna bring
Eve.
publicly
All right,
because there are
listen,
people who want to say this.
You know
and
He's
what?
trying to
I
play a
respect your
trick.
right to do that. I do, entirely down to you. You don't
Thank
have to. You don't have to comment. I only
Yes.
ask you because, like me, you put
Shut
a lot of
up,
comment on everything else
Pierce.
and normally have very
Yeah.
strident views. And I'd actually tell you what, I'd love to know privately what you think. Why don't we leave it at that? I'll call you afterwards. And
Look at him. I'll call you afterwards. I want to know privately what it is you can tell me about Yip. Because if you don't, Candice, I cannot protect you. You know, there are people that want to take you out, Candice, because you have some very angry people that Kanye is getting in the way. Well, Candice is gonna just look at Pierce Morgan. She's gonna look at him like this. She's gonna be like, geez, I am Eve. I know that. But, and then Kanye voice comes out of Candice. You're a fucking asshole, Pierce. How dare you trying to take my woman? Candice is my sister, so you better run away, demon. That's
you let me know.
That's fine.
I'd actually be really genuinely fascinated. Let's turn to Harvey Weinstein.
Genuinely
Again,
fascinated.
Somebody else I knew
Yeah.
a long time.
Words that don't exist, you put them
disgraced,
together.
Shamed, imprisoned,
Wow.
and so on. You've launched a big public defense of him. Why?
It was actually, I got in touch with him kind of quite accidentally. There was a mutual party who felt that I was the only person, despite me and him having very varying views, very strongly varying views. He's on the left, obviously I'm on the right. That I was the only person that would look at his case fairly because I have been a vocal critic of the Me Too movement. And to be completely honest, before he and I got on the phone, I believed he was guilty because, well, he was found guilty. And also because the media had even done a number on me in terms of there were just so many allegations, it was difficult to sift through or to not reasonably assume that something had to be true. And
Well, you're right about that, Candice. But don't protect the guilty, because at the end of the day, God is the ultimate judge. If they're spending a little time, there's a form of guilt involved, no matter what. You are who you are in this world. And God knows how to punish and reward each of us, as much as we don't understand it. But it's for our own good. It all leads to the same road.
So I took a look at the case and was positively shocked at what I discovered. I believe Harvey Weinstein was wrongly convicted, and the reason that
Well, no, I don't know if you're right about that. You gotta understand, Eve Candice, he was a monster. Like this guy is a monster. But a little gerbil monster. And Harvey Weinstein was a little hog monster. So don't get it twisted. Hollywood ladies understand the tyranny they went through. Believe me, women knows. It's because they stopped loving brothers, they're chasing the money. For the love of evil is the love of money. For that means for the love of money is the root of all evil. So don't love the money by chasing it. Love the pleasure of life by chasing life and being with a husband that can give you life that you deserve. Otherwise, God will judge.
he is sitting in prison is because of the media. It was a trial by media and not a trial based on the facts. Now, I want to be very clear here. This does not mean that I think Harvey Weinstein is an upstanding citizen or a moral person. He was completely immoral. That's why he found himself in this circumstance. He was cheating on his wife and by my regard, therefore, cheating on his children. But that's not, you don't put somebody away for rape because you think that they're immoral or that they abuse their power. Hollywood has operated the same way for a very long time. It is a world in which people will prostitute themselves, women will prostitute themselves for parts, for a chance at becoming famous.
Honestly,
And
it's ridiculous.
Rightfully, New York just overturned the decision and is sending it back down to the lower courts because they had the appellate judges acknowledged the fact that it was essentially a kangaroo court. They were convicting him on character and not based on any of the facts.
I mean, over 90 other women came forward to say, or to make allegations of sexually criminal behaviour against him. Does that not give you pause for thought, the sheer volume of people all with similar stories? If you've ever felt like you're being watched
Well,
online, it's unfortunate because you
yeah,
are.
I'm being watched.
Companies,
Look at him.
data brokers. What?
See, the snake finally revealed the truth about everything that we're being watched online and listened to. And all of them feel like they got us all mapped down like they want to take us out. Well, guess what, man? I'm just smoking weed and living my life. So should you. So don't worry about me. I ain't gonna revolutionize your system. You gonna revolutionize our world with your wahala. So therefore, just relax, man. You're just going into a very beautiful captivity hotel jail. It's better than what you gave us, believe me.
Record everything you do on the internet, even if you're using incognito mode.
I am incognito mode. I'm always using an incognito mode, not an incognito mode. You can't find me, believe me.
That is exactly why I believed it, because there were so many women, and then I hadn't even, and I'm sure you didn't realize who actually put him away. How many of those women put him away? And the answer is 3. So it went from 90 accusations, which the media kept hammering into our minds, and it came down to the testimony of 3 women who had consensual sex with him after their alleged rapes, according to their very own testimonies. The 2 women in New York in particular had consensual relations with him thereafter. And when you see the emails sent to him, the text messages sent to him, asking for parts, asking for, tickets here, tickets there. One woman in particular brought her mom to meet him. It just, your brain kind of comes undone, and you recognize, wow, what happened here was wrong. And like I said, it doesn't condone his behavior. It doesn't condone recognizing your power in Hollywood.
It doesn't condone my behavior. I'm just kidding, Pierce. We're just having a very rude awakening comedy. So, I'm sorry, but I ain't.
That women will sleep with you simply because they think that you're
This is my show.
To their success.
You do yours.
But wrong is wrong, and Harvey and I don't have to agree on politics or agree on moral character or agree on theology.
You don't have to watch mine.
He was wrongfully, in my belief, wrongfully convicted.
But I'm watching yours.
I spoke to him for over an hour when he went to the sex clinic after the scandal first blew up and before he committed any crimes. And he told me a lot of stuff there, which was
exactly. What do you mean he's not guilty? Candace, the man went to the sex clinic because he doesn't understand why he's a rapist at heart, or the R effect at heart, the anti-R effect at heart. You know what I'm saying? He's the R effect, or the R, no, not the R effect, the R abomination, the R abomination. Mine, Elon, what's his name? Harvey Weinstein. He is guilty, so don't speak about it. We're going to skip on a little bit and finish this podcast in exactly 5 minutes.
I don't know how much of it was true or not. I've known Harvey a long time. He stood in for me actually on my show at CNN for a week. My stand-in. He was me for a week. And
Yeah.
he did a really,
You're right about that, Pierce. He was you for a week because you were him all the time. You just haven't been caught yet because you were his boss. And now he is behind bars because he was trying to play the guy in Enemy of the State. It's like, what videotape? What videotape? You got the videotape? Huh? You got the videotape? This your boss? What is it gonna take for me to get the tape? To the end of the world. And then the shootout. The end of the Enemy of the State scene.
very distressing.
That's Harvey Weinstein.
I'm spewing out all this stuff, which, if even half of it was true, certainly gave a different perspective about his interactions with a lot of actresses. That it was, in his estimation, very transactional. And that was clearly what he felt, which is clearly what he's communicating.
No, he just was working with Diddy, and they had some politicians on tape. So the politicians just jailed these two Judases. Because at the end of the day, Hamites and Amalek always work together, as the spirits of Judas still exist.
I mean, he's been in prison quite a while now. He's had a lot of health issues. How did he seem to you?
He's still Harvey. I mean, he's powerful, and that was something that also caught me off guard, that he's been sitting in a prison cell he's genius. There's no question. I mean, obviously, he's made a mark in Hollywood because he's a creative genius and he's writing scripts right now.
Well, you can say that about Diddy. You can say that about Harvey Weinstein, but at the end of the day, they're not geniuses. They're evil geniuses. So let's continue, Eve. And
when I
the snake in the garden.
The other interviews with him, there's a lot I
story.
would agree with about how young men, well, they gravitate to him, right? About taking care of themselves, working out, clean living, all that kind of stuff. That's all fine. And the sort of empowering language use, that's all fine. The big problem I have with him, putting aside all the allegations, which I just don't know the truth of them.
Well, we don't need to know that. So let's skip on a little bit. I think I'm being shadow banned.
Yeah.
Treating women
So
like
please unshadow ban me and unshadow ban yourself.
Somebody else who may or may not have visa issues, currently has one, Mahmoud Halil. It's a complicated one here because you and I are big supporters of free speech. This guy is married to an American woman who's 8 months pregnant with their child. He's a permanent US resident with a green card. He was leading these protests on the campus, but he doesn't seem to have engaged directly in illegal acts himself. But
Well, he should have shut his mouth because at the end of the day, you can't go outside and protest and not expect to be arrested. You got to protest online because the home of my comfort is my home. Anyone want to break through my home and talk shit, they'll be definitely flying in the sky, looking around with no eyes.
I thought Marco Rubio, example, which this group have definitely done, been very vocal and supportive.
With a
And he put that in his
surprise.
application for the green card, it probably would have been rejected on that ground. And so why wouldn't they have the right
What the
now
hell is
to
this?
kick him out? Given
Exit.
he's on a green card and he, hid these views until he made
Suckers.
the IRS is the biggest collection agency in the world, and with April
Well,
15th now fast approaching,
we
it's more aggressive
don't
than ever.
care.
Enforcement is ramped up in 2025, and if you owe taxes or have unfiled returns, waiting is not an
Yes.
option. The longer you do, the
Well,
worse it gets. April 15th marks another tax year.
Look at that.
Kanye West launches another anti-Semitic rant to promote
What the hell
his
happened?
which apparently features Diddy.
No, I'm just not going to partake in this sort of like Judas culture.
The Tate brothers
That's right.
continue to divide
So we're
MAGA,
going to
go
continue the show another time. We just
He's not
gave you the
welcome
spirit
here.
of.
What does that mean? He's not
According
been
to
convicted
Piers
of a crime.
Morgan's
Era was the George Floyd's killing.
thing, so we figured out a good new show in this whole process, so we don't need to hear too much conversation so we skip it through. We don't see anything interesting. Who else are they gonna talk about again? Michael. Oh yes. Oh yeah. We're gonna give you a little bit about Michael because they were talking about Michael a little bit, but they never heard that little segment there. So let's go right here. And let's give you guys another 5-7 minutes.
A paid up member of this group and has, never been. That's a very different situation.
Right. And not even Marco Rubio said that he was a member of the group. So all we had were a bunch of Zionist accounts.
And Marco Rubio, if you guys know him, he's like one of those Roman governor that just became twisted against some people that he's mixed with, like the Israelites, people like us. He's mixed with us because he has a little Cuban in him, but yet he's a wannabe. So he's a half weirdo.
Were saying he was a leader of this group, and I was just going, I don't need to listen to Twitter chatter. I actually just need the facts.
No
And-
Twitter chatters.
And if you are going to be
No
passionate
Twitter
about this
chatters,
issue, you should
no
know
ticky
the facts
talkers,
are
no
that
flippy
he's
floppers.
finally in a good prison. The first prison, when his mother was crying to me on the phone that he was in, was something like 9x9, and he was basically confined to solitary for 23 hours per day. And she broke down the phone crying with me about this.
This is why I don't be famous.
And he's much happy.
Thank you for having 0 people watching me. Wow. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, that's 1 billion blood clot.
There. If you revoke,
I didn't see the one.
federal, if
I
the
just saw
pardon's non-federal,
zeros.
People get transferred back to the
Jesus
states.
Christ.
And
Blood.
so I would just like to know what
Jesus.
guided that. I would appreciate it if social movement and people didn't know the facts regarding that case. They didn't know anything about his fentanyl levels. They didn't know. They still thought that he cried out to his mom and said, "Mama, mama." That was actually what he called his girlfriend. And when you look at prior arrests, because he
Look
was
at that.
arrested all the time in that area, he says, "I want mama, I want mama." And so
Look at that. See, George Floyd, it was in the spirit of, unfortunately, George Floyd was in the spirit of Lazarus, maybe. In a sense, he's still alive in Abraham's bosom. And he's in the spirit of it because he became famous like Rodney King, in the spirit of Lazarus as well. So, in a sense, they're alive and you will see them again.
you know, it's a sad case. Drug addiction is sad on its face, and I was happy to speak with his roommates about that and understand the struggle that he was going through. And if the media hadn't gotten involved, this should have been a case to bring Americans together because of the opioid crisis, something that black, white, no matter who you are in this country, you would understand.
That's right, because the drug is of the enemy that brought it to your temple and to break you down. So careful what you do. Try to keep it to a minimal of weed at most, and careful even with marijuana. Quit it if you can, but if you've only been smoking for the last 10 years, quit it. If you've been smoking before that, then, try to quit it as best as you can, or grow your own, or let's connect. Come on now. Put your contact in place, sucker. Let's connect, black people.
Of a cruiser, if you actually watch the full arrest tape, he begs to be taken out and he begs to be put on the ground. George Floyd asked to be put on the ground, and so
We have no more time. Let's take over the whole goddamn world. Weed and food. Weed and food. Weed and food from home. Through a vending machine service, and the parties is in the apartments. Yes, apartment party. Apartment party. Black apartment party. Black apartment party. Black apartment party. It's all about the groups economically. We know how to party on social media, a party on TikTok while we making moolah off for the vending. Then we party. Then we making sure we keep the money in our community.
the standard police procedure is to put the knee just below the neck here, which even right now, if you're looking at me from the front, it might look like I'm holding on my neck, but I'm not. I'm actually holding my back. So
Still, the chief didn't whatever.
Well, before Michael come, we must protect our home like Michael did. Michael protect his home, protect his money, protect everything, beat the system, beat everything these people represent. So the Archangel Michael concluded he won. He beat Babylon, broke him down, took all the innocent ones that they kidnapped, made the world his, and gave it back to Eve because Christ was with him. The Shekinah comfort came right in 91 actually, as Michael was just exiting to continue the fight with Babylon. Mystery beware.
Especially the black artists. Tommy Mottola.
See?
Tommy Mottola, the president of the...
That guy, Tommy Mottola. Let me give you a spirit of that guy. That's the spirit of Satan himself. Thus says Michael as well. And thus says the Lord in the Bible. He's a Roman emperor that is in the Bible that represents his spirit. Maybe Caligula of some sort, which is some of them weirdos that are very, very wicked. And they rule the corporation kingdoms of corpse like a vampire rules his little tiny cage.
division. He is a mean, he's a racist,
Hear that?
and he's very, very, very devilish.
You hear that? Wow. Michael, the revolutionary general. Michael, the revolutionary general. The black revolutionary general. See? He went to war. He's still alive in the spirit and in the body. The man is in the moon getting ready to do the moonwalk forward. You ever seen the moonwalk forward, sucker? Well, you better wait, because he's going to show you guys with the archangel shout of Michael. You remember when the Bible said that, right? You remember? Do you remember? Michael's going to shout, and the whole world's going to hear. They're going to wonder, what? I have no headphones on. Damn, what is that? And then all you're going to hear is, all eyes on me. Y'all don't get it.
Tommy Mottola, the president of the record division, he is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
Shots fired.
That clip
Finito.
was from 2002, his declaration of war on the
Oof, finito. Papa Papalucci, you're finished. Stop fighting.
who he was alleging was intentionally stealing and selling artists short, and who he no longer wanted to work with because he wanted to be a free agent. He wanted nothing to do with these people. And as Ian said, he was fighting this war privately, and he was winning. At least he was winning it in the courtroom.
I mean, it's a fascinating case. I mean, I interviewed Jackson once. You know, a lot of people feel very strongly both ways about Michael Jackson. There's no doubt this new bombshell documentary coming out.
No. We don't need to hear your crap, lies, propagandas, videotapes. Let's hear the last little bit of how she ripped him for the last 30 seconds before we go off.
That Michael Jackson molested him, and that ends up being a really tragic story. You have his sister, who was married to a sort of Russian immigrant gangster who forced her to say that the allegations were true, LaToya Jackson, and it's quite stunning what happened to him, but it's something.
Oh yeah, I forgot. The Russian legions of demons. That's what they call themselves, the Russian Kremlin oligarchs. Beware. KGB was stalking me, but I'm tired of let me be. How does it feel? How does it feel? Does it feel? And how does it feel when you're alone and you're cold inside, like a stranger in Moscow? Lord, my Savior, I feel like a stranger in Moscow. I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling lonely, baby. See, a stranger in Moscow. That was Michael calling out to Shakur Comfort to take over. Because he has fought the good fight. Just like James Brown did. Papa got a brand new bag. The big payback.
We see happen a lot when you have artists who are talented, who seek to go out on their own. This still happens today, whether it's in the news business, whether it's in podcasting, or whether it's in music. You will suddenly see the news conspire to smear these people, whether it's
Well, they will be smeared by their own mouth. Don't you worry about it, Eve Candace. We will end it here because strategists on the other side of the fence, we're making sure we keep the cage tight on these demon media. We got you locked. You think you got news? We will smear your news. Thank you for listening. You smear